H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.
Okay, so hello everyone. We are back again in track. So any doubts from the previous session? If anyone has any doubts right now, we can just go through the doubts now and then we can proceed with the class. Okay. So no doubts from anyone? Great. All right, I hope everybody you're able to see my screen. I have a question on GIT. Okay. Yeah, what's the question? Yeah, Keith, please go ahead and ask a question. You cannot see replace with. So you would right click on the file and say replace with head revision. Yeah, Keith, we'll do one thing after this class is over. I'll just look into your PC and we'll see what's wrong with this. Okay. Okay. So yeah, Madhu, we haven't covered much. I'll be just we are still into the basic of the programming. We haven't even covered the classes and all. Just try to follow this class, and if you still do not, we'll just have a backup class for you. Okay. All right, so let's start up. In the previous class, we spoke about the loops, okay, the jump statements, the control statements, the iterations as well, okay. And I told you that I'll be even showing you the other kind of for loop also. So let us get into the program right now. So let me open a new program here. Okay, I believe everybody are able to check out the projects, right? At least there shouldn't be any problem in checking out the projects, or still anyone has still any problems in checking out the project. Okay, so okay, Lydia says yes. That means you have problems or you do not have problems. Okay, all right, great. Uh, and Madhu, I'll tell the admin to even share the videos, previous videos. You can just even go through that. And if you still have any difficulties, we'll still have a session. Okay, so I'll just talk to the admin guys to send you the videos. Okay, so let's take an example for the for loop again. For loop example 2. Finish. So let me take the previous for loop here and let me. Okay, so let me copy this piece and this piece. Copy this. Come here and just paste it here. Okay. Now, as I said, let's say I'm just going to give you one example here. And okay, I'm going to say here for okay in the loop if I say if let's say, let me keep this index in a local variable here. So let me copy this, or let me just use it directly. If index integer array of that particular index, whether it is a 0, 1, 2 or 3, or doesn't matter. If it equals to let's say 6, then come inside this and print this value. Okay. Otherwise, let's do it in this way. If this is the condition, then just say continue. All right. And we have already seen what is the use of a continue. Right. Let me even run this program again for you and show you what it is. So basically here, whenever it sees the value of 6, value of this particular value is 6, then it is going to basically continue and it is going to go to the 7th one. It is going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is going to skip this 6th one and it is going to continue with the 7, 8 and 9. Okay. So right click, run as Java application. Okay. So if you can see here, I only get as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is not coming because this condition satisfied, and the moment this condition satisfied, I'm basically continuing the loop here. Okay, when you say continue, from here it goes back to the loop again. Okay, now here if I have, let's say, I want to say if this particular value, okay, or let's say, let me keep this in another value here. Let me say here as int current value equals to this one. So what I'm doing is, I'm basically, the moment I loop through, I capture that value, the index of 0, 1 or 2 into the current value. Okay, the same current value, I'm going to check it here. Now I'm saying here, if current value equals to 6, I am just going to say systrace system.out.println, and I'm just going to say here continuing the loop. Okay. Now if I run this, run as Java application, so the moment it sees the value equals to 6, it basically prints this and come to this place, and it goes back to the loop again instead of printing this piece of line. Okay. Now if I only have a single statement here, okay, let's say, let me just copy this or delete it and put it here for the time being. Now if you can see, I have only one condition here, that is a if equals to so and so, and in the body of this particular block, so I say this is a block because the curly braces starts here and it ends here. Okay. Now if you have only one condition, you can very well delete the blocks. That means you delete the curly braces here. It is not required. Okay. Now if I just format, now how do I format the complete application? Now let's say, what do you mean by formatting here? Let's say I have got for loop here, and this one somewhere here, right, and this is somewhere here, right? So nothing is in place right now for me, correct? So I basically copied the example from some other place and I just pasted this, and let's say this is 1000 line of code. I cannot go back and say delete this and say tab, right? So what you can do is, you can very well right click on this, you can say Control Shift F. Okay, so if you say Control Shift Control plus Shift plus F, okay, so it is going to format your piece of code here. All right. Now otherwise you have an option here, where is that? Okay, you can see here on the source, you can say format here also. Okay, so if nothing is in place, there are a lot of tabs in a lot of places, then just say right click, source, format. Okay, the moment you say format, everything is going to be in a proper order. Now what do you mean by proper order here? If you see the first line, this will be the indentation will be 0 here. I mean the space will be 0 here. The space will be 4 spaces. Here it will be 8 spaces. Here will be 8 spaces, and it goes on and on. Okay. So this is one level under the main class, and this is one level under the main method, and this is the same level as what you have it in the integer array. Okay, so even though if I run this application, it doesn't matter. I'll be getting the same output, run as Java application. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not there, and 7, 8, 9. But if you have multiple statements after your if condition, the statement could be, let's say I want to print this one. If suppose I'm going to say this end. So if I copy and paste this here, right? Now you basically get a compilation issue saying what? It says unable to reach code. Okay, because why it is unable to reach the code? When it checks for this condition, it is going to print this, and it is basically going to continue continuously. Okay, so it'll go to here. So there is no point in having a piece of code right here. Okay, so these are things which even though if you don't remember things, at the time you write your code and you compile it, you are going to your compiler is going to give you an error saying that okay, you have got an issue in your code. Okay, now what you do in this case, just have a curly braces here, open and close it. There is a block of code, and just copy and paste it here. Okay, so whatever you write inside this, and as I said in the previous class also, you cannot write anything after this. Okay, because it's going to be a compilation issue as well. Okay, all right, so here I'm saying if current value equals to 6, I'm using something like continue. Okay, or if I say break here, right, and right click run as Java application, it is okay, let me just remove this. If I run this, right click run as Java application, it is only going to print till 1 to 5, because the moment it sees the value as 6, it is, I'm using a break here, right? So when I use a break here, it basically you go out of the loop. All right, okay, now let's see one more thing. For this for loop, I'm going to give a name as outer loop. Okay, so I can give a name to a particular loop as outer loop, and I can use it something like this. So in specific, why we are using this, I will even tell you the reason behind this. So right click run as Java application. So it's all the same thing. Okay, I can even use a continue also here. And here I'm actually giving a name to the loop here. Okay, this is, and I know that this is a kind of a loop here. So I'm giving a name to the loop saying that outer loop colon. Okay, the same thing, the way you give a name to the class, the name to a main method, a name to any of the variables here, right? So these are the variables. So the same thing, you give a name to the for loop also. So right click run as Java application, the same result here, right? Now what happens is at one point of time, let's say let me comment this out, and let me say one more loop inside this, for int I equals to 0 and I less than 5 I plus plus. Okay, now here I have got one more loop inside this, and inside this again I'll be having one more loop, let's say. Okay, for, let me just copy the same thing here and paste it. Okay, now this is very similar. If you can see, I've got a compilation issue here. Why it's saying there is a duplicate variable. Why it is a duplicate variable? Already the value of I have used it in the previous for loop. Okay, so same thing, you cannot use it again and again. Okay, now here I can do one thing. I can just say the first for, okay, first inner loop. Okay, I can even give a name to this, and let me use a value of j here, j, and j. Okay, so my objective here is when I'm using an outer loop and I have got an inner loop, I have got an inner loop. Okay, Now I'm not even concerned about this. Let's say I've got a condition here. Here the value of index is your each and every time you're looping this complete array, the value of the index goes to your current value. Okay. Now you are not doing any condition here, but here in the for loop, okay, so there is a loop inside a loop, right? So this is a loop inside a inside your outer loop. Okay, so this one I have named it as first inner loop. Now again, for each I, now if you can see this, how many times your for loop is going to loop? It is going to loop 5 times. Okay, now how many times this particular loop is going to loop? It is going to loop how many times you have the value here, that is your 8 times. Okay, sorry, it is your 9 times here. So this is going to loop 9 times and this is going to loop 5 times. Okay, so altogether this is going to loop 9 into 5 times, right? Because each time it comes here, it is going to loop this one. Okay, and this is going to loop how many times? It's going to loop your 9 into 5 into 5. Okay, that many times this particular loop is going to loop every time. Okay, now here I've got a condition here. I'm saying if j equals to the current value. Okay, if j equals to the current value, I want to decide, my logic wants to decide whether to break, okay, to your first loop, first inner loop, okay, or to break the complete loop here. Okay, now let's say if I say break here, what happens? Simply break. And let me okay, let me just have this here, and if you have this here, and I've got one more loop here, and after this loop I'm having a value as index. So let me just print this value. So this is your from your outer loop. Why this is from your outer loop? Because if you see, if I double click on this particular SOP, that is your system.out.println, basically belongs to your outer loop. Okay, because this is somewhere related to this one. Okay, now again in your second loop I'm going to have one more system.out.println. I'm going to print something here, and I'm going to say this is your first inner loop. Okay, and let me print the value of your first inner loop as I here. Okay, so I value goes here, the current index value goes here. So let me copy this and paste it here, and for this loop again let me have something as loop here. Okay, and this is your j. So this is your, let me just name it as very most inner loop. Okay, so let me just do a break here. If the current value equals to, and let me keep this value, okay, let me keep it short and simple here. This current value, the first time it is 1. Okay, sorry, yeah, first time it is going to be 1. It is going to come to this loop. Let me just format this. So it is going to come inside this loop, and still the value of the current value is 1 here. It is going to loop. Okay, so it is going to loop here. It is going to say the value of I is equals to 0 something here. Okay, now it is going to come here, and it is going to loop inside, and the value of j, it is 0. It is not going to break. When it is 0, it is going to print this one, right? Now when it is 1, it is going to break, right? So if you run this program, right click, run as Java application. Let me say println and say println here. Say println also here. Okay, right click, run as Java application. Now what basically happens if you see this program? Let me go to the very starting here. Now here it says the very most inner loop. Why? Because the first time it came here, the index as 0, and the value okay, this value will be 1 for you, and it comes to your for loop, okay, the inside for loop. And in this again you're checking a particular condition. If that condition satisfies, and see the j value, you're printing it here, right? Because it is basically not satisfying this condition, it is not breaking out. Now if you can see the second very most inner loop, the value of very most inner loop of where is that, 0. Okay, so it will still continue unless until you find a value of 0. Okay, so if you see the value of 0 here, sorry, the value of 1 here, it is basically going to break out. Now the main objective here, if you now you do not know, your logic may say you here that which particular loop I want to break, whether I want to break this loop or I want to break this loop. Okay, if I simply say here break of outer loop, what basically happens, if your condition matches here, right, it jumps to the outer loop directly. Okay, so in this way you can basically control the complete flow even though you have an inner loop also. Okay, so let me just put a breakpoint here and here. Okay, and let me right click, debug as Java application. So what is the value of current value? It is 1 right now, and the value of j equals to is 0 here, right? So it will not meet the condition. So when I do an F6, so it basically comes in prints here, right? So if I keep continuing now, second time if you see, it checks for this condition and this condition satisfies. Now let's see what's going to happen right now. If I put a breakpoint here, right? Okay. Now when I did a break of your outer loop, F8, right, it basically break the complete loop here, right? So when it let me run it again and show you that. So I say right click, debug as Java application. So it comes here first. Let me say F6. It comes to the first inner loop. It comes in the for loop of your inside the for loop. For loop inside your for loops of the for loop. Okay, so there is 3 for loops here, and if this condition satisfied, no, it is going to say very most inner loop. The second time it comes here. Now this condition satisfies. Now what will happen? It will basically break through the complete loop, because I'm saying break of outer loop. Okay, so for that reason only one time I printed here, and there will be no print out here. Okay, when I do an F8, that means you resume the complete flow. It basically breaks here, and if you see after this there is nothing here. Okay, if I put a SOP here, sys out and final statement. Okay, so when I say final statement here, so let me run this again, run as, I'm not debugging it right now, Java application. So it is going to say very most inner loop of 0 and say final statement. So let me, instead of having a break statement, let me have a continue statement. Okay, and let's see the difference right now. I'll do the same thing, right click, debug as Java application, and let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to say F6 in the sense, go to the next line. So it comes here, it is not satisfying this condition, so it is not even continuing. Okay, so when it satisfies this condition, what happens, right? You're saying continue the outer loop. When I say continue the outer loop, again say it is not going to come to these blocks. Okay, not even it is going to come to this block for loop, is directly going to jump to the outer loop here. Okay, so if you see, each time it continues, it checks. Okay, now you see the value of 0, 1. Now if you see, keep continuing this, right? So depend on what condition you have, and depending on your condition, whether you want to drag your code to any kind of loop here. Okay, so this is the use of your this particular statement. Now if you do not use it, you cannot control the flow, because if you say continue here, it will basically continue this particular loop. Okay, but your main objective is if my inner condition satisfies, I want to basically jump to the outer loop here. Okay, so I would request you guys to practice this. I'm going to check in this file, try different combinations and see how these things works. Okay, anyone has any questions now? I know there might be some doubts in your mind right now, but if you have any questions, just please ping me, or you can just speak out as well. Any questions from anyone, guys? Please ping me.
Jairam, this is Amit here.
Yeah, man.
Which repository you are using? Is it SVN or C?
I'm using GIT.
Oh, okay. Can you please provide me the how like you provide the URL to check out the code?
Yes, I did provide the URL. You didn't attend the last class, Sajid? Amit, sorry.
Today is my first.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Should not be a problem. I'll be giving you the link. Even let me try pinging you the. So the link will be, if you go to a GIT, click on this. So this is the link which I'll be using. Right click copy. Okay, so use this link to just check out the project. And if you see the previous video also, I'll request the admin to send you the video so that you can follow that and you can check out the project. Okay.
Okay. So you don't need to plug in anything, right, for this one?
GIT is inbuilt in your Eclipse itself. You don't have to plug in anything.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So there is a question. It's how can we debug the program line by line? Actually, when I'm doing debug, it compile whole program altogether, not showing line by line. Okay, line by line. For that, what you have to do is you put a breakpoint in the very first place. Okay, if you do not put a breakpoint, even though if you say debug as a Java application, it is very similar to running your normal Java file. Okay, so for that reason, you want to stop your execution at one place. Okay, so just right click on this on the left hand side and say toggle breakpoint. Okay, or you can just double click on that particular line on the left of your numbers, and if your numbers are not enabled, right click and just say show line numbers. Okay, if it is something like this, come to the extreme end of your editor and right click and say show line number. Okay, and put a debug point at the very first place, and from there when you say debug as Java application, it is going to stop there. Okay, once it stops, then from there you can basically say run, and if you see there are a lot of options, step over or return. We'll see a couple of things later, and you have got resume also. F6 is something you want to go line by line. F5 is something you want to go inside this. I'll show you later, not at this point of time. And F8 is something you want to resume. A resume in the sense, let's talk about F6 now. So when I say F6, it goes on and on. Okay, and unless and until your flow completes, it goes on and on. Now if you want to resume it, I mean you want to say I want to continue the flow, I don't want to use any debug point, just say F8. Okay, the moment you say F8, it basically prints all the things whatever you want and it goes through. Okay.
Daddy, come here, show me how to wash it.
All right. Okay, I'm going to check in this file now, and if you guys have any questions, Harpreet, I think it answered your question, right? Okay. Now let me just check in this file. As I said, right click on the file. I'm going to right click on the file. As you can see, it's a new file. And on the left hand side, if you can see, there's a question mark out here. Okay, that means it's a new file for me, and there are no question marks for the other files, and that means these are all existing files and it is already been committed. So right click team, commit. I can give any comments here. I can just say for loop with a name. Sorry guys. Okay, just second commit and push. So you guys are ready to check out the for the file right now. And if I do any changes in the existing file, as you can see, if I just save this right now, on the right hand side I see something like a greater than symbol. Okay, that means you have done some modification to the file. Just check in that file. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So these till now what we have seen is not at all Java. Okay, mainly we saw, if you learn any kind of programming language, these are the minimal things you have to understand and you have to learn. Apart from creating all this class and stuff, we haven't talked about any of these things in particular, but we were only talking about all the conditions inside your main method. Okay, and these kind of conditions will be common in a lot of programming language. Okay. Now, once we have learned this, let's start learning something else apart from this. What are the basic syntaxes to follow? Now, in Java, we have to follow a couple of syntaxes. As you can see, Java is case sensitive. It means if you have something like int hello, okay, I can give a name as hello, and even I can say int hello, okay. So these two are different entirely. Okay, hello is different and hello with your capital letter is different. Okay, and before that, let me even tell you one more thing, which I think I have missed out in the previous classes. So let me go back to the for loop here. Okay, and let me say int my array equals to new of 5. Okay, now let me copy this and create a new file for you. Right click, new, class, initial value of a variable. And if you all see this, how I'm naming this class, I could have very well told something like initial value v as in small, okay, of a variable, right? Now I'm basically, if you see this, somebody will understand, okay, this is kind of a single word itself. Okay, now in order to differentiate that, what you do is I say initial value v as in capital, O as in capital, V as in capital. Okay, so this is the kind of a naming construct you have to follow whenever you create a class in Java. Okay, so always the first letter should be capital. Okay, and the following letters should be capital also. Okay, the following words, and there should not be any spaces, as you know, between the name of the classes. Okay, so let me come here and say int I equals to new of int of 5. Okay, now I'll say int I of 0 equals to 5. Right, now if I just say systrace and want to print the value of the value I of 0, okay, I'm going to get the value of I of 0 as 5, run as Java application. Okay, I get the value as 5 here. So let me even remove this, delete, remove. All right. Now, what did I do here? I just removed the value. Okay, I just removed the string out here, and I just printed I of 0. Now, what will happen if I print the value of I of 1? Right? Can you guys ping me in the chat what could be the value of I of 1 here? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I want everyone to participate in this and just ping me. Good. Okay. I just got an answer error. I'm getting answer as 0. I'm getting answer as null. Okay, I'm even getting answer as null again. I want everyone to participate, folks. I see very few answers right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see a lot of other folks. Please ping anything in the chat. Anything in the sense to be a bit relevant. Okay. It prints some number for array index. Yeah, it prints some number. Okay, but what's that number I'm talking about? Okay. Okay. I see one answer saying variable not defined. Okay. And variable not defined, you will find those informations basically in your JavaScript. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 All right. So let me give the answer here. So let me just run this application and show you the answer. Right click, run as Java application. Now what is the value here? It is 0. Okay. So the folks who has told 0, a very big round of applause for those guys. Okay. The reason is for any kind of integer, okay, integer numbers, you will be getting the default value. Okay, the default value for any kind of integers is your 0. All right. So even though if I do not initialize, what do you mean by initialize? When I say int j equals to 20, that means I have initialized the value of j to 20. Okay. So if I just say sys out and say j here, so I'm expected the value of j should be 20. Run as Java application. Okay. Now what if I do not give the value anything? So that is the place wherein we are talking about right now. Okay. Now if you do not give any value somewhere here, you are going to get a compilation issue. Basically it says that the local variable may not have been initialized. You will even talk about these things in the later session. Basically, yes, if it is a local variable, we'll even talk about right now what is a local variable, what is a instance variable also. So just stay tuned as well. So here, as this particular variable is inside your main method, so this is known as your local variable. Okay. Now, if I just put this here somewhere, okay, and I have to give something as static. Okay, just for now, don't even think about that. So if I give this value of static int j, I do not initialize anything. If I initialize to 90, I'll be getting the value inside here something as 90. Run as Java application. Okay. Now if I do not initialize anything, I'll be getting the default value. Right click, run as Java application. Okay. So that is what I'll be getting. So don't even think about this right now. Just think nothing is here. We'll be having a brief discussion on what is a static. Okay. All right. So this is all about your initial value and whatnot. Okay. So let me even check in this. Okay. So I'm going to say here, this program talks about the initial value of a variable. Okay, I'm going to check in this later, not now. All right, let's move on now. Okay, as I said, Java is case sensitive. The reason I have already told you. Hello H in small is different as hello H in caps. Okay, Class name should be in uppercase in the sense when I say hello world, H should be uppercase and W should be in uppercase. Okay, that's what it is. Method name should be camel case. We'll talk about this at later point when we speak about the methods basically. Just to give you a short note, if I say something like void, okay, we'll talk about void also. Print me, I can say print me like this also, okay, but as I said, we should use some camel case. I should say here print M as in capital. Okay, so this is what it says, a camel case basically. And then file name and the program name should be the same. What do you mean by file name and the program name should be same? Here if you see, the file name is hello world, okay, and the class name is hello world. Now what if I say hello world 2, right? If you see, I just, when I say, let's say hello world, apart from that I just say hi world. Now when you see, the class name is hello world and the class name is hi world, and actually the name of the file is hello world, right? So there's a mismatch right now. For that reason, you basically get a compilation issue, right? It says the public type hi world must be defined in its own file, right? So that means I have to again create a new file and put the hi world in that, right? Now if I remove this, I'm okay, right? Now tell me, I'll tell you one thing. I can have multiple class files in a single Java file itself. Okay, so here in this case, if I say, let me just toggle the name here, public class hello world, or let me do one thing, Control Z and create a new file, new class multiple class file. Okay, now I can say here class my first file. Okay, I can have something like my second file and whatnot. Okay, now if you can see here, I do not even have any compilation issues. Everything should go fine. Even if I say systrace, okay, and right click, run as Java application, everything goes fine. Okay, but the moment I add one more public, something public, okay, I basically get a compilation issue. What I can do, I can just copy this file and put it in another file with the same name here, right? But if you tend to write the same class file, I mean, if you want to have one more class file in the same class, then you have to you do not have to specify any public in front of it. Okay, so you can just simply say it as class my first class, class my second class. Okay, so you're free to do this as well. Okay, so this is what it is. The file name and the program name should be the same. This is the basic syntax you need to follow whenever you write your Java classes and your APIs. Okay, and Java identifiers, identifiers should always begin with a letter A to Z or A to Z in small. You can use a currency character or an underscore as well. Okay, keywords cannot be used as an identifier. What it means, let's see one by one. Let me take the same example here. So I can say int hello, right, equals to 10. I can even say underscore hello. I can even say, okay, I can say underscore hello. I can even say dollar, but I cannot use something like this 1 2 3. Okay, it cannot start with a special character, or it cannot start with the numbers. All right, so this is what you have. If you can see, which are legal and these are all illegal characters. You can not even have as I said, any kind of special characters also. Okay, so and it says keywords cannot be used as an identifier. as I said, these are the identifier hello underscore hello and stuff and all. And in as you know, byte is a keyword, right? I mean, integer, int, byte, short, long, those are all keywords. And even if you can see, public is also a keyword, right? So even we spoke about okay. So here I cannot say something like byte. Okay, it will basically give me a compilation issue. It says syntax error, byte invalid, variable declare invalid. What is that? Variable basically. Okay, even I cannot declare any kind of let's say I cannot say as public, right? Because these are all keywords for me. Yes, we discussed that in the second class. So any of the keywords you cannot use it as a identifier. So this cannot, okay, keywords cannot be used as an identifier. Okay, so let us see other things also. In Java, when we talk about modifiers, we'll talk about these modifiers down the line also. So to modify class and methods, Java modifiers are required. We have something like access modifiers. That is your public, private, and protected, which we'll see. This is just a heads up to you on what all things we have it. And we have something like a non-access modifiers also, wherein we have something like final, abstract, strict, FP, and these things. Okay, so mainly we'll concentrate. We'll check what your access modifiers are and what is your non-access modifiers are. Okay, so and here, as I was talking about in the previous example, there are three type of variables in Java. One is your local variable, one is your class variable, and the other one is your instance variable. Okay, now in short, if you see, I have used local variables. Okay, so what are local variables here? My hello is a local variable because it is inside a method. Okay, if I say hello outside here, okay, so this is basically an instance variable for me. We'll see in this we'll see all these things in details also, so no worries even though if you do not understand these things right now. Okay, now why it is instance variable? Because this I have declared inside the class itself, but this is your local variable because this I have declared inside a method. Now what is a method? Anything you have a name with a open bracket and a close bracket, okay, and not a curly bracket, and you have something in that, and if you declare a variable inside that, that is your local variable. And if I say something as hello again, okay, now as of now this is your instance variable, because if you can see the instance variable hello and instance variable hello again, it's all the same type, right? It's of type integer. This is also an integer. But if I add static in front of that, it basically becomes your class variable. Okay, so this is your instance variable, this is your class variable, and this is your local variable. So we'll see what is the difference between your local variable, what is the difference between your class variable, and what is the difference, what is your instance variables when we start learning your object concepts. Okay, and this is a kind of a data type which I think I should talk about this in the later class. Once we finish up the class concept, I'll even give you an example what is an enum and where to use this enum and how to use it as well. Okay, so and even I have spoken about this, what is a comment in Java, right? So in the next class we'll start introducing what is a class and how to write a class and what are the objective of writing a class, and those information we'll see in the next class. Okay, so I don't want to start right now because I just have 5 minutes of time, right? So I don't want to start up right now, so we'll continue it tomorrow. So any questions till now, folks? If you have any questions, please ping me. What is strict FT? StrictFT, it's kind of a keyboard where we use it basically for some kind of calculation, which we'll see. I'll give you some kind of examples on that. Okay, so no worries. This will be very early to use those kind of, explain you those things. Okay.
Jairam, this is Lydia.
Yeah, hi Lydia.
Do we have class on Friday?
Classes on Friday. Yes, we'll be having classes on Friday.
Okay.
18th.
This Friday is Good Friday.
Oh, this Friday is Good Friday. We'll do one thing.
Yeah.
I'll give you an update tomorrow. If
Okay.
every one of you are okay, we'll just take an off on that day. Even let me talk to the admin guys. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll let you know on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, guys. Have a nice evening. Can we define private classes as second class instead of public? Yeah, these things we'll discuss about in the later classes, Harpreet. So just stay tuned. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. I would like to know, like, can we get these templates?
Which all templates?
The one which you are teaching now?
Yeah, I'll be sending you those PPTs for sure. Okay. Once when I start up the classes, we'll be discussing about the classes and all. From there, I'll start sending you all the PPTs. Okay.
Okay, so not those, the back one, the previous class templates, we can't get it.
See, this is just a template. I'll give you the previous class recording. I'll talk to the admin guys, or if you can just shoot out an email to the admin guys, or even I'll shoot out an email to them right away to send you the videos. Okay, just go through those videos. Okay.
Yeah, we got the videos, not the slides, PPT slides.
Okay. Yeah, slides. I'll be sending it very soon.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, sure. Yeah, and I would request everyone to shoot out, just ping me their email IDs if anyone has missed out. I'll be sending some programs to you. If you can practice those programs, it'll be great enough. Okay. So please ping me your respective email IDs again, or otherwise, if you can shoot out an email to jairam.h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Okay. I would request you can send out an email to this right away. Okay.
Jairam, this is Shiny.
Yeah, hi.
Have you sent any materials or anything from the previous classes?
Are you talking about the videos?
Not the videos, like PPTs or
No, PPTs.
assignments.
I haven't sent it across anything. Okay.
Okay. So I'll share my email ID. with
Yeah,
you.
please. Yep. You can do one thing. You can just ping me. Send out an email to the one which I pinged you. That is jairam.h2kinfosys@gmail.com. So I pinged in the comment chat. So instead of me copying your email IDs, so please shoot out an email. Just a test email. Okay. Yeah, guys, if you have no questions, then we can just wind up the session. I think Keith has got some issues with his Eclipse. I'll just try to sort out his problems.
Jairam, I have one more question. So the video that H2K have shared with us, it's not like very clear. It's a very blurred vision. Is that the same with everyone? Or?
Yeah, no, actually the problem is there was some problem with those recordings, and what we are doing is right now you'll be getting proper recording from now.
H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, visit us at h2kinfosys.com.